Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Chanavatar Chaitanya-lila Vistar Karino Do Nityananda Parabja Karunarena Bhushito Vyakta Chano Budachincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakaschacha Sarvesham Kurunartina Jai Gurudev. Okay, so we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta. So we are coming to the end of Chaitanya-charitamrta. And Mahaprabhu has just been expressing the Shikshashtakam. And now Srila Kaviraj Goswami, he is going to give a summary of the whole of the Antya-lila before concluding. Tomasabar Charanduli Korino Vandan Tate Chaitanya-lila Hoilo Jekichulikan. It is because I have offered my prayers unto the lotus feet of all of you that whatever I have written about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been possible. Hebe Antya-lila ganer kodi anuvad koile pai lila aswad. Now let me repeat all the pastimes of the Antya-lila, for if I do so, I shall taste the pastimes again. Pratam parichede rupe dvitiya milan The first chapter describes how Rupa Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the second time, and how the Lord heard his two dramas, Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. It's very nice to remember all of these pastimes again. Teen Madhya Shivananda Sange Kukur Aila Prabhurtade Krishna Kahaya Mukta Kodila. That chapter also describes the incident of Shivananda Sain's dog, who was induced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to chant the holy name of Krishna and was thus liberated. Does anyone remember that pastime? You remember?
I think the dog started traveling with Shivananda Sen and the devotees. I think he even paid more for him to go on the boat.
Yes.
And then suddenly at some point the dog disappeared, and that all the devotees were wondering where was the dog. And Shivananda Sen was concerned about the dog, and he asked the devotees to look for the dog, so they were looking for him. They couldn't find him, and they were on their way, I think, to Jagannath Puri.
Yes.
And then once they reached Jagannath Puri, they saw that the dog was there with Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu, I think, gave some brahmanas.
He was throwing some pieces of coconut to him and saying like, chant Krishna, chant the name of Krishna, like that.
And then the dog danced, and then I think he was liberated.
Yeah, then he passed away. Yes. And it was said that he went to the spiritual abode. So what mercy was bestowed on a dog. Dvitiye chota haridase koraila shikan tar madhya shivananda ascharja darsham. The second chapter tells how the Lord instructively punished Choto Haridas. Also in that chapter is a description of the wonderful vision of Shivananda Sain. Chitye Haridase Mahima Prachanda Damodar Pandit Koila Prabode Vakya Danda. In the third chapter is a description of the forceful glories of Haridas Thakur. That chapter also mentions how Damodar Pandit spoke words of criticism to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Damodar Pandit, yes. his nature is like very strict, and you know, he likes to do everything very properly. And so there was some incident when a young widowed lady, she's very beautiful and young, but she was a widow, and she had a young son, and that son like made a connection with Mahaprabhu, and they became friendly, and he would always come and see Mahaprabhu. And the widow didn't come to see Mahaprabhu, but her boy would go. But Damodar Pandit, he told Mahaprabhu this wasn't a good idea, because people will think that he has a connection with this lady. If her son is always coming to see him, then it will look bad. The people will think that they have some relationship. You know? So he cautioned Mahaprabhu about that. And it's a little cryptic to me, like how Mahaprabhu took it. It's not so clear to me. But it does mention after that Mahaprabhu sent Damodar Pandit to Navadvip to give news to Shachi Mata about how things are going in Navadvip. How everything was going in Puri. And you could think like Mahaprabhu was unhappy with him, so he sent him away. But one comment Srila Charja Maharaj, he said that Gurudev made about that pastime is he said that why did he choose Damodar Pandit? Because Vishnu Priya Devi was there with Shachi Mata, and Vishnu Priya is very young and beautiful. She was only 14 when Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So Mahaprabhu would only send somebody who he really trusted, you know. So, you know, it's like not completely clear what his response was.
So did Mahaprabhu stop seeing the widow's son?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, generally, he was submissive to his devotees, right? So, even if it was like an irritation to him, like when there's very humorous description when Mahaprabhu is going to Vrindavan, he tells the second time, the first time he's not able to go, but then the second time when he goes, he tells his devotees, I'm not going to bring anyone with me. And basically saying, because you all get on my nerves. Because you all love me so much, you make my life so difficult, you know. Like Damodar is always correcting me, and Jagadananda, he wants me to live a very luxurious and comfortable life. He's always trying to give me a mattress or comfortable pillow or some sandalwood oil and like this. You know, you're always trying to, you know, you're like fussing over me so much because of your love. You know, so I will go alone. You know.
He also accepted the criticism of Paramanandapuri.
Yes, that's different though, because Paramanandapuri is his senior, right? So, yeah, we were. That discussion is that example is very nice and very instructive for us. But yes, of course, that is a good example. Yes, he's always showing. He's the embodiment of humility, tolerance, and respect, right? He's teaching that, and he's living that. Paramanandapuri, he is a god brother of Ishvara Puri, who's Mahaprabhu's guru. He's a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and so he's in a senior position to Mahaprabhu formally. And when he comes to Puri, previously he actually was very offensive to his own guru, to Madhavendra Puri. You know this pastime, you've just forgotten, yeah. When Madhavendra Puri is in his last days, then he's venting this mood of separation, and you know, according to like conventional spiritual understanding, it looks like ordinary mundane lamentation. You know, but Madhavendra Puri, he's surpassed, you know, any, you know, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for?
Social norms.
Yeah, social norms and like stereotype religion. There's another word I can't think of. I can't think. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. He's transcended any, you know, general notion of religion. like the Brahma Gyan idea. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Shochatina Kankshati, the one who's realized themselves as spirit, as Brahma, na shochatina kankshati. They don't lament after anything, they don't hanker after everything, but anything. But that is a very ordinary level of spiritual attainment. It's a lower level. But there's mundane duality, there's spiritual duality, and then there's that middle, the abscissa zone, right? But Madhavendra Puri, he's in connection with that divine duality and venting that mood of separation. But Ramchandra Puri, it's Ramchandra Puri. Yes, it's Ramchandra Puri. Yeah, we're getting mixed up. No, Paramananda Puri, he's always very respectful to Mahaprabhu. Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati, they're both sannyasis. They're senior to Mahaprabhu, but they're very, very respectful to Mahaprabhu. No, it's Ramchandra Puri who's very offensive.
But because he was an associate of Mahaprabhu,
yes,
he must be very elevated. It was just a pastime, right? You understand?
I've never heard that before. I don't know. Of course, it's possible. It's not described like that in Chaitanya-charitamrta. I mean, he's presented in a very bad light.
That's all pastime, surely?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I don't know. In the case of Choto Haridas, we're clearly told this is pastime, and he's actually an eternal associate. But Ramchandra Puri, I don't know. But the main point is that so he commits an offense to his guru, and then that's described as like a seed. And then when he meets with Mahaprabhu, he's offensive to Mahaprabhu. And very, very offensive, and criticizing him for eating too much and then eating too little and like this. But Mahaprabhu, he treats him as his Guru Varga and very, very respectful to him. So it's a very, very beautiful example for us. How did we get on to that? Oh yeah, you were asking about Ramchandra Puri. Yeah. But yes, always we see Mahaprabhu is taking, he's never considering his personal honor or disturbance. Also in the pastime of Amog, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's son-in-law, he's very offensive to Mahaprabhu. But when he sees Sarvabhauma's serving Mahaprabhu these huge, opulent portions of prasadam, and Amog criticizes him for that. And Mahaprabhu, he's taking it very happily and laughing, and Sarvabhauma's devastated, and I hope he dies, and if he doesn't die, I hope that I die. They're ready to fast to death. It's like they're devastated. Mahaprabhu says, actually, he's right. This is too much for me. I shouldn't be eating like this. Right? And then Amog, that pastime is so sweet. And then Amog, he gets a reaction for his offensiveness, and he's on his deathbed with cholera. And then Mahaprabhu gets the news, and he goes there, and it was very sweet. He says he puts his hand on his chest. Mahaprabhu puts his hand on Amoga's chest, and he tells him, get up Amog, just take Harinam, and take Krishna's name. And he says, why have you allowed the witch of envy to stay in your heart? You are a Brahmin. By nature, a Brahmin's heart should be very pure. So why have you allowed this dirtiness of enviousness, of jealousy, to reside there? And I really appreciate that expression, because in the same way, all of our hearts should be clean, should be pure, and then we can question why are we allowing all these dirty things in there? Our heart should be a temple for the Lord, temple for devotion. So how can we allow dirty things to stay there? Bhukti mukti spriya javat pishachi hridivartate tavad bhakti sukhasya cha katam abhyudayo bhavat. That, you know, when these two pishachis, these witches of bhukti and mukti, desires for exploitation, renunciation, when they are within the heart, then how can you expect that noble lady of devotion to come and stay there? So we have to clean our heart. We have to ask ourselves, how did we allow our hearts to get dirty? We have to clean them, make them a suitable place for the Lord and Krishna Bhakti to reside. All right. I also like the incident when there's a lady, I think it's in the Antya-lila, Mahaprabhu's going to see Jagannath, and there's a lady, I think it's during the Ratha Yatra, and there's a lady who's in she just goes mad in ecstasy, and so she runs and she puts her foot on Mahaprabhu's shoulder. She puts her foot on Mahaprabhu's shoulder, and she uses Mahaprabhu's foot to climb onto the Garuda Stamba. Oh no, Jagannath must be in his temple then, right? And she does a double offense, because she puts her foot on Mahaprabhu's shoulder, and then she puts another, and she uses that as like a leverage to get onto the Garuda Stamba so she can get a better view. And then Mahaprabhu's associates, you know, of course they're very angry about this, and they're ready to, like, you know, tell this lady how it is. But Mahaprabhu, he says, she has more devotion than me. Like, she's so eager to see Mahaprabhu.
You mean Jagannath?
Sorry, Jagannath, yes. She's so eager to see Jagannath that she's forgetting all, you know, social norms and all proper behavior. And she's stepping on my shoulder. She's worshipable. She's better than me. Very, very nice example. No consideration of personal honor. Okay. Prabhunam diya koila brahmandamochan Haridas Kodila Namer Mahima Stapam. The third chapter also tells how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered everyone by bestowing upon the universe the holy name of the Lord. And it describes how Haridas Thakur established the glories of the holy name by his practical example. Mahima Stapam. This is the high position of Haridas Thakur, as Gurudev pointed out, that even before, you know, Mahaprabhu's, what is his main reason for descent? To spread the holy name. But Haridas Thakur, he started that before Mahaprabhu. So he is the Namacharya, that dignity is given to him, that he inaugurated that program. Chaturte Shri Sanataner Dvitiya Milan Deho Tyag Hoite Tar Kodila Rakan. The fourth chapter describes Sanatana Goswami's second visit with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how the Lord saved him from committing suicide. This pastime is so wonderful, one of the most hopeful that we find, and so loving in Chaitanya-charitamrta. Does anyone remember that pastime? How Mahaprabhu stopped him from committing suicide?
Stop him?
He stopped him from committing Sanatana Goswami.
Sanatana was traveling towards Jagannath Puri, I think, right? And he chose like the way that was most complicated, because he didn't want to go through the city, something like this.
That was previously. Yeah, that was when he escaped from prison, and so he was like a fugitive. and so he had to go off the beaten track.
Okay.
But he went through like jungle area and dirty water,
He
and
went through the same way that Mahaprabhu went to.
I think so. I think it was through maybe the Jarikhanda, maybe, but
Yeah, so he went through the jungle, and because he was walking so many days and he wasn't eating barely anything and drinking some like dirty water, and his body got like an infection, and he had like some sores, and then there was like pus coming out of the sores, and then there was like, I think, worms as well.
no pus. That's another pastime. Yeah.
And so he was feeling like really, like he was saying, what can I do with this body? Like this body is so useless. Like how can I see Mahaprabhu in this state, and how can I even serve Mahaprabhu with this type of body? And so he thought the best thing for me to do is to jump in the wheels of the chariot in the Madhya-lila, so that I can, like, I'll just suicide because this body is so useless. Like I can't serve my Lord with this type of body. And so he got to Jagannath Puri, and he gave dandavats to Mahaprabhu. And I think that's where he doesn't go through the main road where the Jagannath temple is, because he feels he's very low and he doesn't want to make contact with the pandas. And so he goes through, I think, a beach or something. And he's feeling very low also because he's like from, like a Muslim family. So he also feels, I'm so low, like I contaminate everything. I'm coming here and I'm just coming to contaminate, and my body is also like contaminated as well. And so when he got to Mahaprabhu, he gave his dandavats, and Mahaprabhu wanted to hug him, and he came and he was like, no, please don't touch me, like look at my body, is so terrible. And then Mahaprabhu hugged him forcefully. And Sanatana Goswami felt even worse, because he was like, I'm just coming here, I'm so terrible, and still Mahaprabhu is hugging me, I'm contaminating his transcendental body. And so, but Mahaprabhu was very affectionate, and he said, like, if I don't hug you, then that would be saying that I am looking like in a bodily way at people. Like I'm just, like when I see you, I don't see your body, I'm looking at like a devotee of the Lord. And I can't remember what happened next. How did Mahaprabhu convince him?
What happened is when that was almost everything exactly.
Except he wasn't from a Muslim family; he was from a high Brahmin family, wasn't he? So
yes.
Contaminated through his service to Muslim rulers.
Yes, that's right. They were from a high, Rupa and Sanatan, high Brahmin family, but because he was employed by Nawab Hussain Shah.
He got Muslim names and everything.
Yeah. Well, in those days, if you just were touched with water by a Muslim, it would be considered you were a Muslim. So what to speak of like working so closely with the Muslim ruler? He was like the prime minister or something. Like they were very high positions. Sanatana Goswami developed all these oozing sores, and when he reached Puri. In the beginning, Mahaprabhu went to embrace him, and Sanatana Goswami, obviously, he like tried to like stay back, and it happened like again and again whenever they met, and then it mentions like how these sores were like touching Mahaprabhu's body, this like pus, and Sanatana Goswami's feeling like so bad, and first he decides to leave actually. And he consults with Jagadananda, and he tells, it's very sweet exchanges, like he tells Mahaprabhu, like, please don't do this, we'll finish in a few minutes, Didi. Okay. Please don't do this, I'm going to contaminate you. Mahaprabhu tells him, you're so pure, you can purify the whole universe like this. And then Sanatana Goswami, he just can't tolerate this, and And then he talks to Jagadananda Pandit, and he decides, I'm going to go back to Vrindavan. And Jagadananda says, yes, I think it's a good idea. And then you remember that then Sanatan tells to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is very angry, who is this Jaga? Like, who does he think he is? You know, you can instruct the entire world, and this boy is telling you what to do. And then finally, Sanatana Goswami decides to throw himself under the chariot wheel, as you said, of Jagannath. And Mahaprabhu, he's omniscient, and so he understands immediately, and he approaches him, and he tells him, please don't do this. But it's very, very sweet exchange, because Mahaprabhu tells him, you are my property. You belong to me. You have no right to make your own decisions about my property. So this point is very helpful for the devotees. Because sometimes devotees, they become very neglectful about themselves. But this point is there, that we have to conceive of ourselves in terms of the interest of our Guru. So we have to consider ourselves just like a piece of property. We belong to our Guru, and we have to take care of our Guru's property, like that. So Mahaprabhu tells this to Sanatana Goswami, and he says, there are so many things that I need to do, but I can't do them. So he said, because my mother told me to stay in Puri. It's very sweet. My mother ordered me to stay in Puri, so I'm very limited with what I can do. But there's so much work in Vrindavan that needs to be done, right? Rupa and Sanatan, they're the ones who revealed all of the holy places, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And also, Mahaprabhu empowered them to write so many books, elaborating on his teachings. So he says, there's so much I need to do, but I can't do it, but I want to do it through you, and you're going to destroy yourself like this? What is this? And Haridas Thakur's there, and he said, oh, Haridas, just see, Sanatan wants to destroy somebody else's property. What is this? Can you believe this? And then there's also that incident that's presented a little separately, when Mahaprabhu calls for him one day, and it's the middle of the day, noontime, and Mahaprabhu calls for him, and Sanatan, as you said, he doesn't want to go through the main road, because he would never go on that road, because the pandas would walk on that road, and he was thinking, I'm degraded, so he didn't want to walk there, because actually the Muslim, because Puri, Orissa was practically the only Hindu state in India at that time. Otherwise, it was Muslim rule. So Orissa, it was like a stronghold for the Hindus, and so Muslims weren't really welcome there. And so Sanatan was very conscious of that. And so Mahaprabhu, he arranged, when Mahaprabhu first decided to go to Puri, then Haridas Thakur was like, what about me? Because he's considered Muslim. What about me? How you're going to Puri? How can I go there? How will I get to have your association? But Mahaprabhu says, don't worry, I'm going to make a special place for you. So he makes a little out of the way, Siddhapakul. And so Rup and Sanatan, Haridas, that was their place, But anyhow, Sanatan's always very conscious, he's considered to be a Muslim by the Hindu society, and he doesn't want to disturb them or contaminate them according to their thinking. And so he went. The only other route was to go across the hot burning sand, because it's the middle of the day. And he reaches, and it mentions that he was just in so much joy that he was going to see Mahaprabhu, he didn't even notice the blisters on his feet. And Mahaprabhu, he glorifies him for that, actually. Gurudev said he was surprised that Mahaprabhu glorified that, because it's so extreme, But Mahaprabhu, he appreciated that. He said this was like maintaining the etiquette. And the etiquette is the ornament of the Vaishnava. And then there's also this incident you mentioned. Finally, when Mahaprabhu, as you said, he said, I'm a sannyasi and I should not distinguish between materially good or materially bad. I should see things in an even way, in a neutral way. And there's this very famous verse our gurus quote very much, that Mahaprabhu speaks there. Dvaite bajra bajra gyam sab manodharma e balo e manda e sab brahma. That everything in this world is a mistake. To distinguish between good and bad, it's foolishness. It's all an illusion. This is good, this is bad. It's all a mistake. It's all wrong. This whole world is based on illusion, on separate interest, on misconception. So whatever you find in this world that is apparently good or apparently bad, it is all bad. It is all wrong. It's all based on false understanding at its root. So this is an important point for us.
Is that verse from?
It's from Chaitanya-charitamrta. It's spoken in that pastime. Mahaprabhu. There may be a parallel verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe. But that's the original Kaviraj Goswami.
Where is that from? His etiquette is the ornament of the Vaishnava. What's that quote from?
That's when Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami goes running across the hot sand. Yeah, Mahaprabhu says that. Maybe he's quoting from somewhere. I don't remember. But Mahaprabhu definitely says that. Yeah. The etiquette is the ornament of the Vaishnava. So it's something we have to remember, because we can get attracted to sattva gun stuff, right? We tend to be attracted to that, right? Eco-friendly and vegetarian and vegan and recycling and all these things. We can get caught up with that. But ultimately, if it has no connection with the Lord's interest, it's all part of, the mess of this world.
Bad.
What's that?
It's all bad.
It's a trap, that we can fall into, and we can see someone who is apparently, very pious and very good and does everything very, consciously in this world, but they are averse to that sensual current, to that sensual interest. And then conversely, we can meet some bum on the street, who by connection with the Vaishnava has some affinity for that sensual flow.
It's not something you could tell someone on their first visit to the temple.
No. No. And generally we do target these, conscious type of people and hippies and, environmentally friendly and vegetarian and vegan, yoga. Generally, we will target them because they tend to be more open-minded. But sometimes it can be the opposite. Often it is the opposite. They're so fixed in their idea, in their sattva gun ideas, that they can't appreciate how this is something more. This is going beyond that. So they can actually be the hardest nuts to crack. But some poor, humble bum who has, bad habits and so on and so forth, they may be, much more receptive to this. So we don't keep any prejudices. Well, maybe we'll stop there because Saraswati Ji did request us to stop early. Prabhu has shopping to do for the cooking. Everyone's very busy. Jai Shri Chaitanya-charitamrta ki Jai. Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. Would you like to sing?